Hey everybody, this is Kaous of Kaous Games, and today what I want to do is give my overview and review of the game Kingdom Come Deliverance, as played on the base PS4. So let's get right into it. First thing I want to say is that this game is probably one of the best games I've played ever, on the surface. So it's very unique. A lot of really good things in this game. Well-written characters. Pretty engaging story. Fun gameplay. Unique and detailed gameplay elements. There's a lot of good to talk about here. It's a pretty complex game too. For example, normally when you do some kind of crafting system, you just kind of click on a menu here and there, and then it auto completes. Right here in this game, it's unlike anything else I've ever played. Obviously, there may be something out there, of course, but like for alchemy, for example, when you have to literally go to an alchemy bench, have a certain set of ingredients, read the directions, and actually like flip a timer, pull a handle to start the furnace up and boil for a certain amount of turns, and put the ingredients in, let it cool, all types of very detailed stuff that I've never seen before. And so that's pretty amazing. Obviously tedious, but for the amount of realism they're going for in this game, in several aspects, I'll say it's quite unique and an enjoyable experience. Blacksmithing, you normally take it to a blacksmith to do most of your repairs, or you can do it yourself, I guess. And they don't show you that, but like if you're trying to sharpen your weapon, you literally have to go to the grindstone and angle it a certain way to get it to grind. I've never seen anything like that. Like it's normally like, it's either automatic, like with Skyrim, for example, you would go to the grindstone and you do stuff with it and you see them doing it automatically, but they wouldn't actually be doing it. No, you literally have to angle it a certain way, not too much, or you're gonna mess the blade up, but not too small either, or else you're just not gonna sharpen the blade. So there's like a certain way you gotta go to it, and that's pretty cool. And then also, like with lockpicking, the most complex lockpicking system I've seen in any game. I just avoided lockpicking most of the time if I could help it, because one, it made a severe amount of noise and people could hear it and it'll draw attention. I was going to break a lockpick. I just wasn't good at it, because you have to like angle it, especially when like playing on a controller like that. You have to angle it and then keep it in a certain spot while turning it, and then you have to do it fast too, or else you're going to strain the blade. And I was like, I messed it up too much, so I just avoided it. I was trying to find a way around it. Had an interesting pickpocketing system, which was very risky, because you had to time it. You have to see how long you can hold it, and then you can fish through their pocket for a certain amount of seconds, and find a certain item, reveal it, and then try to get out before they realize you're in there. Normally I'll just wait till they're asleep and try to pickpocket them that way. So it's a lot of detail. Your armor gets dirty. You can see the nicks and dings and the dirt on it, and people react to you a certain way because of that. So if you have shinier armor, they respect you more. Your charisma goes up. And then you can just go to the bathhouse and get with a toot if you want to, or just get your armor cleaned. And very, very detailed, very interesting stuff. You obviously get the shine, the polish in there, and it affects your charisma. So there's a lot of detail. And then in the fighting system, while altogether not unique in some aspects, in fact, I would say the progenitor of this combat system that I've noticed was actually For Honor, where they have like you strike from the different directions. And then obviously I've seen the same thing in a very similar combat setup in Absolver, which is a indie game. But here, the difference is, unlike For Honor, they actually focus more on, from what I understand, HEMA concepts, or historical European martial arts. And it's pretty good, unique. I did upload some gameplay footage that kind of shows some of how they were at least attempting to be more historically accurate with the the fighting in the game. And I got a lot of enjoyment out of that in the game. It was unique and enjoyable. Not at first, because at first I was just getting wrecked, but you literally, they offer a lot of opportunities for you to train and actually get better. Which, and in the training, the safe training environment actually adds to your level too, by the way, which is I liked a lot. It's not like you're not actually doing physical activity out here. Like in some games, you go to do the training, and they don't give you any points for it. You just are just doing it for your own on the surface benefit. No, here you can go and get with a captain of the guard and work on some actual combat with him with a practice sword, and your stats are going up. You're still fighting. It's just you're not fighting for real. So I like that. That was something that was unique to other games I've played. But still, ultimately, it does resemble, the fighting system of For Honor, Absolver, where you pick a direction, you slice from that, or you poke, and not. But what's different is that they also had a clinch system, where if they get too close, you clinch up, and they can either knock you away or that way. I really started to develop a really efficient combat system when I learned how to efficiently use that clinch. Because, I draw him in, clinch up, punch him in the face real quick, and then, hit him real quick, and then back up. They have different combos, but, obviously I didn't work on those too much because, the opponents, especially in the later part of the game, my equipment was so good, I was going to kill them pretty quick just by poking at them or slicing at them a couple times. But there's no point to try to use those combos. They have combo systems that if you land them, you can get some nice little knocks, little combo moves, finishers off. But it's pretty detailed. But when you're fighting those opponents, they're gonna parry your stuff, and then they're gonna come back and hurt you. So I just wanted to get in there, punish them real quick, and get out and get ready to do what I needed to do again, whether it be a parry counter or to clinch up, knock them off balance, and get in there on them. But so you find your way. You find a way of dealing with things as you progress in the game, and you literally like in any good game, you as you go, you find yourself just getting more and more efficient at dealing with these things. And whereas at the beginning of the game, fight was out of the question for me. Literally you grow with the character. First mission, I ran away. I wasn't about that life. But by the end of the game, I just reveled in multiple enemies coming in on me, and me just chipping away at them. And it was a bit of it. I loved it. And obviously the story itself, the main character he's enjoyable. They have a grittier approach to the world, kind of very similar to how The Witcher did, only this one more based in realism. Obviously I'm a fan of fantasy. That's my preferred genre, so obviously it's not making it up to my GOAT game like The Witcher 3 is, but still it's one of the better games I've played still. But so basically, so you got the combat system, good characters, good story. I will say that the story, obviously the ending was a bit of a sequel bait or DLC bait, which that's either a good thing or a bad thing. You decide. For me, I'm a little more neutral about it. I guess I would prefer. I can't say that the story, the ultimate goal of the main character from the beginning of the game, he doesn't actually get to by the end of this game. And I'm not sure if that's because they're trying to make this, they're saving it for the sequel, Or is it they're saving it for DLC? I hope it's DLC, because I really think if the character, you start the story off with a character trying to do something, he should at least get to that point where he's attempted to do it and failed, or he's done it. But here it's like, oh, he clearly wants to do this thing, and then he doesn't get it done. I'm like, well, I don't know. That's toss up for me. I'm not sure how I feel about that story wise, but if you play the game, I'll let you decide how you feel about how it was handled. Me, I would have preferred that he at least been able to make an attempt at what he was trying to do. But you know, it didn't take too much away from it, in my opinion. Now, and then they have one of the most espionage intensive missions I've ever seen in any game, and I couldn't deal with it. I had to look up a guide, and there's I'm not going to spoil what that is, but when you get to it, if you play this game and you get to it, you'll know it. I'm more of a kick down the front door and go in there guns blazing kind of guy. So this mission, it involved a lot of sneakiness and a lot of politicking and a lot of jury just to figure things out. Wasn't a fan of it that much, but I appreciate what they were trying to do there, and it was interesting for what it was. But of course, with that said, you can't talk about this game without talking about some of the obvious issues. Okay, first thing is they got the save issues. They have an interesting way of handling saves in this game. You have to have a very specific type of alcohol to save manually, called Savior Snaps. Now, that's where what compelled me to learn alchemy, because those things are expensive from a vendor. So I just had to learn how to brew the potions and make it happen myself, because I wasn't about to keep paying for that. And so that was unique. I appreciate what they're trying to do there. I still would prefer direct control of my manual saves at all times, especially in this game, because they did supplement that with auto saves, but the auto saves come so few and far between that you might lose a lot of time if something happens to you, which I did on several occasions. And sometimes it wasn't even my fault because of other glitches, like the game shut down or crashed. Or I've seen this issue one other time in my gaming career. When I played Dead Island, it got to the point where auto saves wouldn't work. They would have stopped working, and you'd had to start before the patch. You would have to monitor it to see that your games are actually saving. Now, obviously, I'm into the game. I'm getting into it. The glitch would happen in this game with those sparse saves, and I'd be going around, and I would, something would happen to me. I'd die or something, or I'd want to load and realize I had just lost an hour of gameplay. Happened to me once or twice, and that is highly frustrating when that happens to you. I hope they fix that. That is one thing that really shouldn't be an issue. You need to, because they only let you auto save at various points in the story. When you start a quest, when you reach a pivotal point of the quest, when you sleep, when you wake up, it should save. I wasn't noticing that it wasn't saving. See, what was happening is, like, a good precursor to this glitch in my experience was if the rain started to pixelate weird. That would mean that the saves were about to jack up, and that's what happened most often than not. And I lost a good amount of gameplay on a few occasions playing this game, and it's frustrating. But I'm a persistent sort, so I just kept going. That's something to watch out for. Another thing I noticed was, I can't even call this a glitch, because a glitch implies that it's not designed to be something's like it's a mistake that's happened in the game. It's not designed to be that way. I would say Henry's greatest nemesis in this game, above any bandit or warlord or whoever was the stairs, because Henry had a hard time walking upstairs, any stairs in the game. Now, if you just try to stand or walk up the stairs, he's gonna get stuck on the stairs. Now, I don't know how this oversight was made. But without fail, if you try to walk up some stairs, you're gonna sit there and just be stuck. I found a way around this because pro tip: crouching is greater than stair glitch. Okay, so the sneak crouch, and you should be able to get up any pair of stairs, but that's something these guys really need to work on that when they patch this game, because that's kind of ridiculous when your greatest enemy in the game is stairs. Let's see here. Oh, another funny glitch I had is my guy took off one time when I went to an alchemy bench in the wilds, and I started to activate the bench and go to do the crafting, and my guy took off, clipped through the roof, and went up into the stratosphere like James from Team Rocket, and wouldn't stop until I pressed the exit button. And when I pressed the exit button, when I held it down, my dude dropped to his death, and I lost about 10-15 minutes of gameplay because of that. So fix that, please. And I tried it again, and it happened again, but this time I actually used the saber snap to see, and so it wasn't even a glitch. This particular bench was designed to send your character careening through the air like James from Team Rocket. So they have some things to work on. Yeah, so but yeah, aside from all that, this game has a lot of things in it that were very unique. It actually feels very, very dense. The gameplay area is expansive. There's a lot to see. There's a lot of the foliage is dense. When you go through the woods, you feel like you're in a thick forest. The gameplay set and the setting is very, very, it's something to look at. It is something to see. So one of the best ones I've seen. One thing I ran into on the PS4 Basic, which is might be expected because I'm not a PC master where I'm a console peds, very low tier console peds, mind you, is that the graphics oftentimes went from what I call PS4 to PS1 to PS4 real quick, right? So if you're any significant different distance from an object, it's gonna look like PS1 graphics. And then as soon as you get up in there, just a little bit further, pops in, and there you got PS4. So it's some of the worst pop-in I've ever seen, right? So luckily I'm not that big of a graphics guy, so it didn't take away from my experience. But maybe you're that big of a graphics person, and that would be something to look at for you. Okay. But obviously, like I said, the setting and the very high attention to detail in the overall landscape was amazing to me. The story was excellent, and the combat was very engaging for me. So I guess the last thing I want to say is that if you're into medieval settings and RPGs and things like that, this is probably a must own. I would say buy this at full price, even with all the glitches. But be careful, because you will run some glitches. There are a lot of them. They need to work on and polishing these out. This game is a diamond, but it's a very, very dirty, unpolished diamond. So just be aware of that. So yes, it definitely gets my stamp of approval. And yes, absolutely. So I'll just close it out here. This has been Kaous Games. Until next time, gamers, game on.